A job website guide by field from Jobstars. Chapter 1. A job website guide by field 1. Accounting and finance job websites. accountantlist.com/job/search, accountant list. accounting.com/jobs, accounting. accountingjobstoday.com, accounting jobs today. americanpayroll.org/membership/job-board, American Payroll Association. anafp.org/job-board, ANAF Nonprofit Accounting and Finance. banktalenthq.com, Bank Talent HQ. careerbank.com, Career Bank. eFinancialCareers.com, eFinancial Careers. iHireAccounting.com, iHire Accounting. Advertises jobs curated just for accounting professionals. ptindirectory.com/help-wanted, PTIN. CPAs and EAS. Administrative job websites. virtualassistants.com, virtual assistants. virtualdeskjobs.com, virtual desk jobs. Age 50 plus job websites. over50badassjobs.com, over 50 badass jobs. retirementjobs.com, retirement jobs. seniorsforhire.org, seniors for hire. Agriculture job websites. aghires.com, AG Hires. farmjobsearch.com, farm job search. joeproduce.com, Joe Produce. pickingjobs.com/USA, picking jobs. Architecture job websites. archharrer.com, archharrer. archpaper.com/jobs, and jobs. careercenter.aia.org/jobseekers, AIA. careers.allatoday.org/jobs, ALA. archinect.com/jobs, archinect. architecturecrossing.com, architecture crossing. archeslate.com, archslate. careercenter.aia.org/jobseekers, American Institute of Architecture. youngarchitect.com/jobs, young architect. Automotive job websites at jobstars.com/automotive-job-sites. jobstars.com/tag/automotive, automotive posts. autoservicejobs.com, auto service jobs. careers.ozishop.org, Automotive Service Association. jobs.autocare.org, Auto Care Association. jobs.autonews.com, automotive news. mechanicshub.com, mechanics hub. tireindustry.org/jobnet, tire industry jobnet. usamotorjobs.com, USA Motor Jobs. Aviation job websites at jobstars.com/aviation-job-sites. jobstars.com/tag/aviation-aerospace. jobstars.com/tag/aviation. aeroindustryjobs.com, Aero Industry Jobs. aerojobs.net, Aerojobs. avianation.com, Avianation. aviationemployment.com, Aviation Employment. aviationjobsearch.com, Aviation Job Search. avjobs.com, avjobs. careercenter.aaae.org/jobs, American Association of Airport Executives. climb2350.com, climb2 350. findapilot.com, find a pilot. jobs.aviationjobnet.com, aviationjobnet. jsfirm.com, jsfirm. planetex.com, planetex. setp.org/jobs, Society of Experimental Test Pilots. Beer job websites. brewbound.com/jobs, brewbound. breweryjobs.com, brewery jobs. Cannabis job websites. jobs.leafbuyer.com, leaf buyers. Casino job websites. casinocareers.com, casino careers. Communications/PR job websites at jobstars.com/communications-job-sites. whojobs.com, jobs.iabc.com, natcom.org/findajob, careercenter.prcouncil.net, jobs.prnewsonline.com, careers.prweacus.com, prsa.org/jobcenter, talentzoo.com. Construction job websites at jobstars.com/construction-job-sites, bluecollarjobs.com, careercenter.cfma.org, cmanet.org/career-hq, constructionjobs.com, constructionequipmentjobs.com, generalconstructionjobs.com, thenaca.careerwebsite.com, consulting job websites, consultingmag.com/careers, consulting magazine, creative job websites at jobstars.com/creative-job-sites, designjobs.aiga.org, authenticjobs.com, coroflot.com, creativeheads.net, dribbly.com/jobs, jobs.gamasutra.com, jobs.gamesindustry.biz, getcreativejobs.com, crowp.com, zerply.com, criminal justice job websites, ascld.org/jobs2, American Society of Crime Laboratory Directors ASCLD, disability job websites, abilityjobs.com/job-search, ability jobs, wearycapable.org, chronically capable, defjobwizard.com/job-listing, defjobwizard, diversity job websites, diversityjobs.com, diversity jobs, jopewell.com, jopewell, Black, Latino/Hispanic and Native American professionals and students, latpro.com, latpro, education job websites at jobstars.com/education-job-sites, jobstars.com/tag/education, careers.isap.org, hiredjobs.com, herseyjobs.org, careers.insidehired.com, k12jobspot.com, joblist.mla.org, careers.nagapi.org, nasro.org/sraso-job-postings-2, searchassociates.com. Chapter 2. A Job Website Guide by Field 2. Engineering job websites at jobstars.com/engineering-job-sites, jobstars.com/tag/engineering, asce.org/careers, birdogjobs.com, engineering.com/jobs/engineering_jobs_search.aspx, careers.ieee.org, ihireengineering.com, nspe.org/resources/career-center/job-board/job-board, entry-level job websites at jobstars.com/entry-level-job-sites, jobstars.com/tag/entry-level, collegerecruiter.com, entryleveljobs.me, job-applications.com, myplan.com/careers/index.php, opnation.com, scouted.io, wayup.com, zipia.com, estate job websites, estatejobs.com, estate jobs, executive job websites, execsearches.com, exec searches, ivexec.com/jobs/executive-jobs, ivexec, facilities job websites, facilityexecutive.com/job-board, facility executive, federal/government job websites, clearancejobs.com, clearance jobs, federalgovernmentjobs.us/job-agency.html, federal government jobs, governmentjobs.com, fitness job websites, barbelljobs.com, barbell jobs, food service/restaurants job websites, careersinfood.com, careers in food. culantro.com, culantro. goodfoodjobs.com, good food jobs. Forestry job websites. statforesters.org/jobs, National Association of State Foresters. Global Development job websites. devex.com/jobs, devex. Green job websites. greenjobsearch.org, green job search. hourly/pt job websites. mother-works.com, motherworks. shiftgig.com/I'm-a-worker, shiftgig. workstep.com, workstep. Human resources job websites at jobstars.com/human-resource-job-sites. jobstars.com/tag/human-resources. employeebenefitsjobs.com/jobs/by_date.html. hrcrossing.com/lcabout.php. ihirayer.com. jobhoney.io. hr.com/n/hr_careers. liraweb.org/job-board. humanresources.org/careers. jobs.pafao.net. jobs.shrm.org. wdgigs.com. Healthcare job websites at jobstars.com/healthcare-job-sites. jobstars.com/tag/healthcare. jobs.aai.org. aarc.org/careers. alliedhealthjobcafe.com. caregiverjobsno.com. cheherorecruit.com. drjobs.us. healthcareconsultant.com. healthjobsnationwide.com. hospitalcareers.com. hospitaljobsinc.com. hospitaljobsonline.com/browse/jobs. liquidcompass.com. localesite.com. medseps.com. medreps.com. thename.org/employment-opportunities. nursefly.com/browse-jobs. nursingjobcafe.com. pharmadiversityjobboard.com. physicallyemp.com. practicelink.com. Information technology job websites at jobstars.com/ad-job-sites. jobstars.com/tag/information-technology. ai-jobs.net. jobs.acm.org. cloudsecurityjobs.io. computersciencejobs.com. crunchboard.com. dice.com. educause.edu/careers/educause-career-center. getcatjobs.com. iapp.org/connect/career-central. icrunchdata.com. itjobcafe.com. itjobpro.com. jobs.mashable.com/jobs/search/results. rafiki.io. topresume.com/n-us. techfetch.com. techjobs4good.com. technical.ly/jobs. Insurance job websites. jobs.staterequirement.com, state requirement. Journalism job websites. journalismjobs.com, journalism jobs. Legal job websites at jobstars.com/legal-job-sites. jobstars.com/tag/legal. americanbar.org/careercenter.html. acc.com/careers. jobs.aedp.org. alenti.org/career-center. goinhouse.com. lawcrossing.com. lawjobs.com. nala.org/career-center. ncra.org/jobs. Lifestyle job websites. malaki.com, Malaki. Lifestyle-driven industries. Chapter 3. A job website guide by Field 3. Logistics job websites at jobstars.com/logistics-job-sites. Jobstars.com/tag/logistics. apix.org/for-individuals/careers-resources/career-center. fleetjobs.com. iwlaw.com/career-center. jobsinlogistics.com. napnet.org/networking/opening_search.asp. ncmhq.org/community/career-center/job-board. supplychain247.com. manufacturing job websites at jobstars.com/manufacturing-job-sites. jobstars.com/tag/manufacturing. compositesjobsource.com/jobs. jobs.ame.org. jobs.fmna.org. factoryfix.com. manufacturingjobs.com. careers.nam.org. jigjobs.com/find-a-job. jobsinmfg.com. maritime job websites. ccareer.com, ccareer. yacrew.com, yacrew. marketing job websites. findmymarketer.com, findmymarketer. math job websites. mathclassifieds.org, mathclassifieds. non-governmental organization/NGO job websites. globaljobs.org, globaljobs. idealistcareers.org, idealistcareers. occupational safety and health job websites. careeradvantage.aiha.org/jobseekers, AIHA. oil and energy job websites. oilfieldjobshop.com, oilfieldjobshop. rigzone.com, rigzone. project management job websites. careerhq.pmi.org, Project Management Institute. Real estate job websites at jobstars.com/real-estate-job-sites. jobstars.com/tag/real-estate. adventuresincre.com/acrejobs. ariesnet.org/page/job announcements. buysnow.com/jobs. ihirerealestate.com/jobs. irem.org/careers. nar.realtor/ae/jobs. selectleaders.com/candidate/find-jobs. Chapter 4. A job website guide by Field 4. Religious job websites. churchstaffing.com, church staffing. Relocation job websites. relocationjobs.net, relocation jobs. Remote job websites at jobstars.com/remote-job-sites. fiverr.com. flexjobs.com. goodgigs.app. linkedin.com/jobs/remote-jobs. remote.co/remote-jobs. remotetechjobs.com. searchremotely.com. skipthedrive.com. upwork.com. virtualvocations.com/jobs. workremotely.com. workingnomads.co/jobs. ziprecruiter.com/jobs/remote. Travel job websites. hottraveljobs.com, hot travel jobs. mountainjobs.com, mountain jobs. jobmonkey.com, jobmonkey. Retail job websites. allretailjobs.com, all retail jobs. careersingrocery.com, careers in grocery. nrf.com/career-center, NFR Career Center. Sales job websites at jobstars.com/sales-job-sites. jobstars.com/salary-research-sites. jobstars.com/tag/sales. a-isp.org/inside-sales-careers. nasb.com/career-center. nbdia.co/jobs. jobs.salesnetwork.org. salesgravy.com. salesjobs.com. salesjobrecruiter.com. salesmanagement.org/jobs. careers.smei.org. Science job websites at jobstars.com/science-job-sites. jobstars.com/tag/science. careers.aab.org. absa.org/job-board. asbmb.org/careers/job-board. bio1careercenter.org/jobs. chemistryjobs.acs.org. geosciencejobs.com. jobs.physicstoday.org/jobseekers. sciencecareers.sciencemag.org. thesciencejobs.com. Seasonal job websites. allocationampjobs.com, all camp jobs. Security job websites. fireandsecurityjobs.net, fire and security jobs. silentprofessionals.org, silent professionals. Small business job websites. proven.com/jobs, proven. Sports job websites at jobstars.com/sports-job-sites. jobstars.com/tag/sports. abca.org. hcahockey.com/job/index.php. swimmingcoach.org/job-service/job/openings. bikejobs.net. usgolfjobs.com. ncaamarket.ncaa.org/jobs. protennisjobs.com. sportscareersinstitute.com. sportsjobboard.com. teamworkonline.com. workinsports.com. Trucking job websites at jobstars.com/trucking-job-sites. jobstars.com/tag/trucking. alltruckjobs.com. alltrucking.com/jobs. bigtruckdrivingjobs.com. cdljobs.com. classadrivers.com. findatruckingjob.com. garysjobboard.com. gettruckerjobs.com. hiringdriversnow.com. jobsintrucks.com. justcdljobs.com. truckdriverjobs411.com. truckdriverjobsanyarm.com. venture capital job websites. ventureloop.com, ventureloop. Veterans job websites. wehireheroes.com, we hire heroes.